Ryan headquarters. Yeah, this is Mary Ryan. Oh, the interview on Saturday? Yeah, well, I prearranged that. I have already arranged that, yes. Right. Okay? All right, bye-bye.
How about some breakfast, Mary Ryan?
If you've got coffee in that bag, Finelli, I take back all the mean things I've ever said about you.
Coffee? Peach, apple, and a little bit of cheese. I stopped by the hospital and your brother Pat said you'd been here for hours.
Oh, Jack, thank you.
What time you get up in the morning, anyway?
I couldn't sleep. Frank is supposed to be on a radio panel for budget cuts this weekend. So I was just going over his notes. Bob or I will have to stand in for him.
You really are keeping the campaign going, aren't you?
Of course.
I heard things were a little better yesterday. Frank was awake?
He looked at me. He knew I was there.
Good.
Bob told me that you'd come by. You didn't stop to see me.
No, I knew you were with your family. I didn't want to intrude.
Oh, you wouldn't have. You don't. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
What's wrong?
I need a knife.
I have one. I never go anywhere without it. When I was in 5th grade, Frank won a safety essay contest, and he gave it to me for Christmas.
This isn't a knife. It's a toolkit. Half of each?
Terrific. I can never make up my mind.
I have always found that a variety of experience is the most rewarding.
I'll bet you have.
Listen, I've been asking around about Frank, what he might have been up to over at the hospital, particularly the missing $6,500. None of it makes much sense.
I know that.
There's a routine police investigation going on, right?
Yes.
They come up with anything?
Not that I know of.
Bob Reed have any ideas?
What are you getting at?
Only that the more I think about it, the less likely it seems to have been an accident.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't.
Why, you sure?
What do you care?
Because you care? Because the more I learn about Frank Ryan, the more interested in all this I am?
Oh, Finelli, I like you so much. The question is, can I trust you?
Usted ha sido muy buena conmigo, Miss González. Este es un buen hospital.
Oh, I'm glad we were able to help.
I will miss you.
I'll miss you too, Mrs. Santos. Let's wait here until your son comes up from the pharmacy, okay?
Sí. Este bracelete, ¿me lo puedo cortar ahora?
Oh, of course you can.
Qué tijeras tan raras.
They're designed to cut bandages and not to cut you.
Excuse me, Miss Gonzalez.
Just a moment, Doctor. There you are.
I will keep it as a souvenir.
Has there been a call for me from the lab?
Not that I'm aware of. Let me check. You have Porter's x-rays?
Yes, I do.
Nothing since then. Mrs. Santos, here's your prescription for pain. And I have 6 tablets left.
Sí.
And Dr. Moultrie has ordered you another 12 to take home. Tome, aquí tiene sus 6, okay?
Gracias.
Excuse me, Miss Gonzalez. I'm expecting a new series of x-rays on Frank Ryan within the next few minutes. If the lab should call, I'll be back in my office.
Yes, doctor.
A usted ella no le cae muy bien, ¿eh?
She's new here.
Oh.
Is the orderly who helped me the other day on duty?
Carlos Rivas? Yes, I believe he is.
Well, I'll need him in my office for a half hour or so, if it's all right with Dr. Moultrie, of course. Also, Miss Gonzalez, I would be grateful if my departmental mail were taken directly to my office and not put in the box in the staff lounge. Would you take care of that for me, please?
Que mucho manda ella, huh?
I'm not in charge of departmental mail service, doctor. My responsibility on this floor is patient care.
So is mine, Miss Gonzalez. So I spend my time in my office and not in the lounge. And I think it appropriate that my mail and information about patients be sent to me directly in my office.
I suggest you speak to Miss Pelota. She's Dr. Coleridge's secretary.
Miss Pelota was not at her desk. And since this is the first mail stop on this floor, I'd like you to give instructions to the orderly this morning. Oh, one final point.
Yes, doctor.
I'm in the process of looking for a new apartment. Now, I've given my office number as well as the station extension to 2 real estate agents. If either one of them should phone, would you take a message and page me right away?
Is there anything else, doctor?
Ella se cree que esto es un hotel.
Estoy de acuerdo con usted.
No, senora. I have a job to do, and I expect help in doing it. You should understand, Miss Gonzalez, that I do understand some Spanish. I don't know where you trained, but in my medical tradition, nurses do not criticize physicians to their patients.
Dr. Bolak, that wasn't criticism. It was a statement of fact. Since you've joined us, you've expected a great deal from us all. And you haven't asked, you've demanded.
As I pointed out to Mrs. Santos, I have a job to do here, and I expect cooperation from the staff. I also expect an apology from you.
I do not apologize for my opinions, doctor, on my floor.
Well, then I shall have to report you to the board for insubordination.
Dr. Bullock, may I see you in my office immediately?
Well, that depends on what you're trusting me about. In general, you can trust me to finish what I begin, and you can trust me to tell the truth. And if you know something that makes you think Frank wasn't hurt accidentally, you can trust me to help you find out what happened.
When Frank first woke up yesterday morning, Jill was with him. She heard him quite clearly ask for Delia.
Yeah.
When I got there, he'd slipped back under again. I sat and I talked to him for a while, and he began to come around. He was trying to say something, but I couldn't understand. And then just for a second, it all came clear. He looked at me, and I knew he was trying. I knew he was trying to make me understand. And then he said one word. Pushed.
Are you sure?
I couldn't believe I heard it myself. So I leaned in closer, and he said it again. I was not mistaken.
Who else heard him?
No one. Jill had gone out to get her father. The nurse was out of the room.
So who else knows about it?
Well, I told Bob right away. He went directly to the captain in charge of the investigation.
What'd he say?
That they were doing everything they could already.
Yeah, that figures.
Oh, Jack, they are. I believe that.
You have more confidence in the cops than I do.
Listen, Frank is running for city councilman. He's an ex-cop. He's Captain Rubin's friend. They're concerned about what happens to him.
Okay. So who else knows what Frank said?
No one. Not even the family. Bob doesn't want it discussed. And that is why I'm trusting you to keep quiet about it.
Relax, will you? I'm not going to say anything. Let whoever did it think they got away with it.
Exactly.
Mary.
Yeah?
I hesitate to bring this up because I know what your reaction's going to be, but you have to consider it.
What?
Some kind of connection between Frank and Nick Zappo.
I don't have to consider it because it's impossible.
How do you know?
Because I
You
know...
know Frank. Yeah. But think about it. Where did Frank Ryan get $6,500 in cash? And why was he carrying it around with him?
I don't know.
The last person he saw in the hospital, that we know of anyway, was Nick Zappo. Nick happens to be one of the few people in Riverside with that kind of money.
And he's also one of the few people in Riverside who would like to own a city councilman. Is that what you were going to say next?
Yeah.
Well, forget it.
Give me a reason.
The best reason of all. Frank doesn't need Nick Szabo.
Everybody needs money.
We have more than enough to see us through Labor Day. Check for yourself. Listen, Frank doesn't need money. He never has, and he doesn't care about it. Now, if Nick Szabo wanted to send 20 or 30 of his numbers runners up here to stuff envelopes, maybe we'd do a little business. But beyond that, I can't see what he could possibly offer Frank Ryan.
That's an interesting idea.
What is?
Not money. Bodies. People who can make things happen.
Now, I don't like the sound of that.
Nick has a lot of contacts, Mary. Not just envelope stuffers, but the kind of guys who can drop a word here or a word there to make things smoother for Frank, or more complicated for the opposition.
Finelli, you stop that right now or else get out of here.
Look, Mary...
I mean it. Not another word. Frank made the primary without any help except from his family and his friends, and he's going to win the election the same way. Now, he doesn't need Nick Szabo or his influence or his money. And if he did, he'd die before he'd accept that kind of help.
Okay. Okay. Sit down. Cool off. You know, sometimes I think you gotta be Italian.
Ha ha ha.
Hey. You like baseball?
I love baseball. I saw my first game was when I was in kindergarten.
Really?
Yeah. Doc took the whole family to give an official farewell to the Polo Grounds because that stadium had been such an important part of his life. He wanted the whole family, even Kathleen, to be able to say they'd been there. Oh, and I loved it. I loved singing the Star-Spangled Banner with 40,000 grown-ups. I loved the mustard on the hot dogs. But most of all, I loved the team. I developed an instant crush on all 9 of them. But I was very sad.
Why?
Because for the first time in my life, I realized there was something I couldn't do because I was a girl.
Seriously?
Oh, listen, it took me years to get over it.
Well, look, we can take in a ball game this afternoon if you'd like to sit in the press box.
Oh, Jack, I'd love...
Only you might not feel comfortable that far away from the hospital.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Will you ask me again?
It's a standing invitation.
Good.
Mary?
Hi, Bob.
Hello, Finale. Is this business a pleasure?
Oh, it's always a pleasure to see you, Detective.
I think the business is over.
Well, then I don't mind interrupting.
And I see no reason whatsoever for not reporting it.
Only that I shall ask you not to.
May I ask why?
I've worked with Miss Gonzalez for the past 3 years. She's the best nurse that I've ever had in charge. She's outspoken, but, well, generally I find that what she says is essentially the truth.
Dr. Coleridge...
Now, I'm not condoning what she said to Mrs. Santos. I am saying, however, that I am in agreement with what I heard her say to you. What's your problem, Dr. Bolak?
My major problem, Doctor, has been to find support or cooperation from anyone in your department. With the exception of your son, who's been extremely helpful.
Well, may I suggest that the problem may be the way you've chosen to look for that support? Ramona said it rather succinctly. You haven't asked. You've demanded.
I have asked politely and been ignored. At that point, demands are justified.
They may be justified, but they're also frequently counterproductive.
Dr. Coleridge, it seems hard for you to understand that I am here to work. I have a great deal to do, and I have a very stringent schedule, which I intend to keep. If I'm going to make the kind of contribution to this department that I want to make, then I have to have a little help.
We all get impatient with procedures and with hospital red tape. And we all have to depend on help from people who are doing 40 other things as well. Now, I know that's frustrating. But we make accommodations. Why can't you?
I don't compromise, Dr. Coleridge, and I don't like to waste time.
What's your hurry?
I beg your pardon?
Well, you're pushing very hard, Doctor. You hit that front door running. Now, I can't help feeling there must be a reason for all that urgency.
I think I explained that I have some work that's been delayed, and I'm very anxious to get back to it.
Beyond that.
Beyond that, Doctor, is none of your business.
Neurology at Riverside Hospital is very much my business. And whatever your problem is, it's affecting my service in a way that I really cannot tolerate. Now, you strong-armed your way into my department. You've wrecked my budget. You've disrupted my staff. And I can no longer accept that. Do you understand? Have I made myself clear?
I will continue to do my work at Riverside Hospital, Dr. Coleridge, and I will continue to ask for the cooperation of your staff. I will stay out of your way as much as I possibly can. And I hope that you won't give me any of your concern about my personal problems, whatever they may be.
Come in.
Excuse me. Dr. Bolak wanted to know when the lab called. The x-rays on Frank Ryan are ready.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt. How's it going?
Well, I think I've made some sense out of his notes.
Is it all right if we went over that stuff now? I've got to be down at headquarters, and I don't want to be late.
Oh, sure.
Okay, Ryan, you got a rain check on the ball game.
Good. Thanks for breakfast.
See you tomorrow, huh?
I hope so.
So long, detective.
Mary, I don't want to go over that stuff right now. I just don't want him hanging around.
Bob.
Mary, he is no friend of Frank's.
Well, he's a friend of mine. And when Frank's well again, they'll have more of a chance to understand what...
Yeah, well, I don't trust him. He's a newspaper man. I don't think you should trust him either.
Well, I do trust him, Bob. I like him. He's concerned about Frank, and he's done everything he can to help. By making things nicer for me and by trying to find out what happened.
The only thing he's trying to find out is how to make a story out of what happened.
I don't think so.
Well, you'll see.
The only thing he's done is to ask what I think is a reasonable question to someone who doesn't know Frank. Whether there's any connection between Szabo and Frank. Listen, I know it makes me mad, too. But I can understand why it would cross his mind. But I think I got things settled today.
Yeah?
I told him what Frank said.
Mary!
He's not going to tell anybody. Besides, it isn't as if we haven't discussed the possibility of Frank's having been pushed. Listen, I thought if he knew, it would keep him thinking. He's smart. He's an investigative reporter. Maybe he'll come up with something.
Kid, you don't do dumb things. But that was dumb.
I'm sorry, but I don't see what difference it makes. He didn't push Frank, and he'll keep quiet about it. Actually, I think it's very strange that we haven't told Da or Pat or Mother.
The fewer people that know, the less chance that whoever did it will find out that we know Mary. Do you understand that now?
Yes, but it feels like lying.
Well, don't lie, but don't volunteer information, please.
Okay. Don't worry about Finelli. It'll be all right.
I hate getting mad at you.
I don't like it either.
What ball game?
Oh, for heaven's sake. He just asked me if I wanted to go to the game this afternoon. I didn't. Listen, all I want is for Frank to get well and try to help us find out who pushed him down the stairs.
Dr. Coleridge, I have Frank Ryan's x-rays. I think you should look at them.
Yes. I was afraid of that.
In Port Charles, revenge is a priority, relationships are disposable, and good medical care is a necessity. Keep up with this fast-paced city with an all-new episode of General Hospital, weeknights at 10 on SoapNet.